niche down or go broad. Okay, so a lot of people on social media are always telling you find your niche, be a master at this, be a master at that, and then some people tell you to go broad and expand your services and all of this. It can be completely overwhelming, and you can just be like, I have no idea what to do, okay? So I will share with you what I did and how I believe it made me 7 figures. And then I'll explain how when I did expand into stuff. So when I first started my business, I genuinely solely niched right down. I niched down into becoming the best cosmetic tattooist in Perth, right? That was what I wanted, I aspired to be, and that's what ended up happening, right? I ended up becoming one of the very best in Perth, and we charged top prices, and I was able to do that because that was my niche, okay? Now, why did I decide on that niche, and why did I not go into doing everything at once? Well, I know for a fact that I know myself as well, and I know that I learn better when I'm concentrating on one thing at once. So when I started my journey, I didn't even start brow waxing first. I actually did just the tattooing. I got into cosmetic tattooing. I did a microblading course, and I was shit at it because the course was terrible, right? It was a 1-day course. I spent $5,000 on it. The course was terrible, and if it wasn't for the fact that my husband and my kids at the time and my family and everyone was saying, this is a waste of money, you're wasting money and all of this, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it because I was so shit, and I would have been like, oh my god, I can't do this. But I'm quite stubborn, I like to prove a point, and I like to be like, no, I can do this, I just need to keep on practicing. So what I did and how it worked for me, and how it's always worked for me in any of the services I brought in over the 10 years, was I would solely focus on that one thing for literally months. Now, when I mean focusing on microblading, when I first done it, that was all I did, day and night, practicing at night to make sure that not only was I improving, but I was going to be the best, one of the best, right? I didn't want to settle for being average or being mediocre or anything like that. I wanted people to know, who do I go to for brow tattoos in Perth? I go to Gingerella Rox, okay? So that was my business plan. That was what was on my board, so I always knew what to focus on, right? So that meant that I would spend months and months perfecting my craft. The biggest mistake I see people make when they come into beauty straight away is they try to learn everything at once. Okay, so they learn everything at once, especially when I was training tattoos. They would learn tattoos, they would then go and try and learn lip tattoos, eyeliner, everything at once. What happens with that is they never become a master of that one thing, okay? Now, if you are learning something as important as a tattoo, you want to make sure that you are dedicating your time and effort to solely learning that one thing until you become a master at that, then move on to something else, right? So I only did brow tattoos for about 7 years in that salon. It was about 7 years. Then we branched into, we also did brow waxing. After a year, we added in the brow waxing because we were always asked for clients as well, so it's silly not to. So I added in that. Then after about 7 years, I think it was about 7-year mark, I added in lashes, so like lash lifts, but not lash extensions and that, just lash lifts, simple lash lifts. That when people were getting their brows done, they did their lashes at the same time, okay? So, and then after about 8 years, as we all know, I noticed that bookings were going quieter and brows were dying off, right? They're not going to ever die totally, but they were definitely dying off. So any great leader, all the seminars I've been to, any mentors I did have eventually later would say that you need to pivot. You need to pivot your business. So that's why I got into body sculpting. Now, when I got into body sculpting, again, I didn't just get into body sculpting and do it for like 2 weeks and then try to charge people top money. Absolutely not. I learned body sculpting in the August, and then, like I say, I'm very, very honest, if you've been through my body sculpting program, I again didn't think the training was that great, so I had to basically learn myself, and I basically came up with all my mapping techniques through trial and error. And how I did that was working 3 months for free on clients. So I would be doing my clients during the day, my tattoo clients. At nighttime, I would be doing body sculpting clients or adding in a couple during my day to get my experience up there, so that I knew I was a master at it before I started charging, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that with everything, because not a lot of people have a lot of spare time, and I didn't have spare time either. I just value that much more, as much effort I put into my business, as much as I will learn that specific treatment, I know that I'm going to be a master at it, and I know it's going to make me a ton of money. Now, you have all witnessed my change, especially you've witnessed my body sculpting, right? So 10 years ago, you might not have followed me, but in the last 2 years, you've watched me turn from a brow salon completely into a body sculpting salon. And I didn't just do that by learning it for 1 week and then trying to get loads and loads of clients. I genuinely spent 3 months of my life totally absorbing everything I could learn about body sculpting, putting all that into practice, learning even more from other people, and then I created my own mapping techniques through trial and error with working on actual models for free. So then I was able to document how it went and stuff. That is how you're going to build a great name for yourself and become a master at whatever treatment you're doing. Now, the decision really is on you if you want to niche down or if you want to be broad. For me personally, and the fact that I managed to get to 7 figures with my brow only salon shows me that niching down and becoming specific with that was definitely the best move for my career. And then when that started to slow down and moving out and branching into something else, that yes, that was a great move as well. However, I again followed the same principles I did with my tattoo, and I completely submerged myself into that. I would never recommend going and learning every single thing at once, and then offering all services within your salon. And then every single time that a person comes in and it's a different treatment, you're a bag of nerves because you haven't done enough of that one person, so enough of that one treatment to be so confident in it. Let's say you've learned 6 different modalities, right? You're learning skin, you're learning tattoos, you're learning waxing, you're learning body sculpting, you're learning lashes, you're learning all of that, right? Every single time a person comes in for each of their treatments, you will be nervous because you have not done enough of that one treatment to be fully confident to absolutely smash it. So you're going to spend your days actually hating your job because you're constantly nervous. That genuinely is what happened. So when I made the switch to, I forgot to add in, we were brows only. About 6 years later, I think it was, we added in lips, right? Lip tattoos. Now, when I added in the lip tattoos, I actually went back to being petrified of doing tattoos again because it was something that I hadn't had enough experience of. I did a few and then we started charging because we were building up a portfolio. But every time that person would come in, a new lip tattoo, even though I knew I was going to create beautiful work for them because I spent hours at home practicing, it still gave me nerves because I hadn't done that many. So you need to think about how you're going to build your business. But, if you're just starting off and you are thinking of, I would definitely say master one thing first before you move on to something else, 100 million %. But if you're already offering all of these things, I would really have a good look and see that what is it that you're mainly selling? What is it that you mainly enjoy? What is it in your why? Look at your why again, look at your business plan. What is it you're wanting to be actually known for? Because if you are offering 25 million treatments and you're only really wanting to be known as the best body sculptor in Australia, then why are you wasting all of your time on waxing tints and all of these little small things that add in money when you can be making huge money with body sculpting? I hope that makes a little bit sense of niching down. I'm actually going to put some information below as well that you can read, and then that might help you make a decision and also help you work out what you can see as your niche, what you absolutely love doing, what you're going to feel brilliant about going to work every day for, because that is what it's all about. If you're going in there and you're feeling nervous and shit and everything, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to put the time and effort into your business, and unfortunately your business is going to suffer as a result of that.